huge round of applause to David Downing for being an exceptional moderator over the last couple days. After the next 20, 30 minutes, you'll just get a real appreciation for how good he is relative to the next guy that's going to be moderating. But anyway, Stacy, thank you so much for being here. It's you stepped up when we did the first ever Connect Thrive Summit in San Francisco 4 years ago, sponsored that, and can't tell you how much I appreciate it getting us off the ground and being back here again today. It's really, really cool. So thank you. It's great to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You know, so we've been talking about LGBTQ travel for 2 days. Had really insightful conversations from day one. It's been a fantastic, great learning experience for me. And I thought that, I mean, at Lauderdale, you've been doing this for 26 years. Now, not you. You've been there what? Six years as president.
What's today? Today's date is the 4th.
Yeah.
Today is 6 years.
6 years today.
Started 6 years ago today.
That's awesome.
I know.
Congratulations.
It goes really quickly.
Time flies.
Yes, even when you're not having fun, which the past 2.5 years have, been sort of iffy.
But 26 years of doing LGBTQ marketing, so you're not new to the game. A lot of us can learn an awful lot, and I thought that if we could even just start on kind of the evolution, where you started and kind of how it's evolved over the course of 26 years, and then I really want to dive into the most recent campaign because it inspired me to reach out and beg you to come. So,
well, you didn't have to beg. Oh, I made you beg a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to share some of Visit Lauderdale's work over the past 26 years. And I'd like to say that the CVB was the leader, started the trend. But the truth of the matter is, so I've lived in Fort Lauderdale since 1974. I know, hard to believe. What was I, 3? No, I was 14. You do the math. And it, at the time, was very white, very conservative, very male, very straight. And it slowly began to change as my parents' generation, most of them from the Northeast, with liberal progressive views and ethnic, a lot of Jewish, a lot of my people, my tribe, started to move into Broward County in the mid and late 70s and really changed the look of the community. And it became a more open and welcoming place to be, regardless of who you were, who you loved, what, if anything, you worshipped. And the CVB looked up and said, you know what, this is something that we need to capitalize on. We need to show people that that's who we are. And that's really, I hate the word organic, and I just hate the words organic and authentic these days. Everybody's organic, everybody's authentic. But it really was very much community-driven, and it continues to be community-driven to this day.
Yeah, and I mean, so 26 years ago, what it was was it just kind of saying we're open? Is that like the Travel Host magazine?
That was the first one, and this is Nipple Boy, by the way. That's what it's called, Nipple Boy. Because we're very open in my wonderful destination. And Nipple Boy, which I just like to say the word nipples, I guess, he was very, who doesn't, right? He was the first openly LGBT plus promotion that we did, and we have to thank Travel Host, because Ina Lee, who ran it then and runs it today, and anybody who knows anything about my destination knows Ina, put it on the cover. Had to say Rainbow Guide because we were still dipping our toe. Didn't say gay, lesbian, LGBT. Didn't say that, but rainbow, which clearly was the message. And it started it in 1996.
It's 96, that was progressive
Yeah.
26 years ago in this business, and not only in Florida but around the country. That was probably one of the very few destinations that were really starting to dip the toe into this.
Yeah. Actually, the nipple. We dipped the nipple.
The nipples. Okay. And then it evolved.
Mm-hmm. So this is 3 or 4 years ago. Celebrate You was a campaign that we put together where we decided that we were going to show the faces of the people who live in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Rather than using curated models, we wanted to show the faces of the people who actually live in the destination, and also include accessibility, because marginalized communities can be a variety of things, not just LGBT, people of color, accessible travelers who are often ignored, transgender, who are often ignored, even though they're the T, They're less now than they were at the time, but we decided that we were going to include people of color, non-binary, accessibility, lesbians, trans, and you know, when I say it like that, it almost feels like there were boxes we were checking, but we really just wanted to pick interesting people who live in the destination who might be intriguing to those who were considering visiting us. And that's what Celebrate You was all about. And it was our first foray into using the black and brown stripes on the flag, because we all know that people of color in particular who are gay, lesbian, transgender have a, in some cases, more difficult time because of their communities, and we wanted to show that we recognized and saw them.
Yeah, and you're, I mentioned to you briefly, but in CMI's presentation yesterday, it was really cool because they called out and highlighted Visit Fort Lauderdale for using the transgender models in the ads. I mean, that was a big step too for you and for the community.
We were the first destination to use a trans model. Now she's a former Miss Brazil or Colombia trans, and so, you know, 6 foot tall, long-haired, beautiful Brazilian woman, but the first ones to do it. And we have since embraced not just using trans models, but using people, as I said, in the community, the top, your right, top right, Misty Eyes, with the sunglasses. She's a real person who lives in Broward County. And in fact, she's doing drag bingo for my birthday on Wednesday. So
awesome.
Finally get to celebrate my birthday after 2 years of lockdown.
And as an organization, you've embraced diversity for a long time in terms of organizational structure and having people really dedicated to pushing the initiatives as well.
You know, it's a community of 2 million people, 170 nations represented by 147 different languages. So if you aren't embracing it, then you are certainly being left behind. And we believe that the best way we can market and promote our destination is to be reflective of the community and its values.
Right.
And we're very, very serious about that.
Well, so you just completed a total rebrand of the organization's branding, and it was what Hello Sunny was the predecessor for years. The new one is everyone under the sun.
Right.
I mean, so that's not just a little dip their toe into embracing diversity. That's really taking it head on.
Well, I don't know how many people in this room know me, but I am not a toe dipper. I believe in going up to the neck. And oftentimes, I'm out there on the limb and I look back and there is nobody there, or there are people there with the saw. But I believe that when you really believe something and when you are passionate about it, then you should be out there on that limb. And that's what we've done. So in May of 2020, we launched our new brand, because why wouldn't you launch a brand in the middle of a pandemic or the beginning of a pandemic? And we changed our logo, we changed our name, which used to be the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is a mouthful. So we changed our name and we changed our tagline. And because we're a county agency and our mission is to sell the entire county, which is 31 municipalities strong, it was an unusual move to change to Visit Lauderdale, because while Fort Lauderdale is the most well-known city in the destination, it's not the only one. But I'm a big believer in asking forgiveness, not permission. So we just did it, and after the cat was out of the bag, you know, too late to go back.
So this again, why this spoke to me, and the relevance and the importance to have you here and talk about this campaign at this conference is this is not an LGBTQ campaign. This is the brand campaign. So you've really kind of gone that next step beyond what we've talked about here the last couple of days. This is this is diversity in all its glory, but that's the flag that you're planning as a destination, a community, and a brand.
Because diversity isn't just LGBT, although that's obviously an important part of it and extraordinarily important to the destination. We are always up at the top of the lists for being an LGBT destination. We don't want to lose that. That's incredibly important to us. But again, 170 nations, 147 languages, you can't get any more diverse than we are. And few do, if any, and so you want to show that to the world. I have long said that if you want to see people who only look like you, don't come to us, because that's not what it's going to be like. You're going to see people from all over the world who live there, and we really are the melting pot. Unlike other places, and by that I mean to the south of us, we don't have a little this and a little that. Everybody just lives together in Broward County. You won't find Colombian neighborhoods or Brazilian neighborhoods or Cuban neighborhoods. We just all live together. And I think that, as corny as this is going to sound, I think we're what it's supposed to be.
Right, but taking diversity, very intentionally taking diversity as the strength of the destination and the reason for people from around the world to choose the destination is, that's a pretty bold, when we live in a world of art, culture, shopping, dining, fun for the whole family, brand positioning, this is new to the industry.
I'm sorry to hear that, honestly. I think more of us should be doing it. And while I know that travel transcends politics, the truth of the matter is that what we do is political. We have to most of us report to an elected official or more, or a county or city administrator who are political, and we have to be cognizant of what's going on in our communities and in our state. And this was, I think we launched We Are VL 3 weeks after the Don't Say Gay bill or the Stop Woke Act was passed by the legislature, and so the timing was very intentional.
Very, very intentional. To that point, I'd love to run that spot if we could real quick.
I had to get the word gay in there. I'm a Floridian.
No, again, the complete embrace of diversity of all stripes, and then the accessibility and the gay and everything. I think it's honorable, and I want to congratulate you for it. I think it's very, very so well reflective of all the conversations that we've had today. And I guess the question that for you is, how is the community reacting to this embrace?
The community is very, very supportive of what we do. I haven't gotten a single phone call, email, text saying they didn't like it. My boss did say to me that she was concerned it would have unintended consequences, considering that the budget had not been signed yet by the governor. And I understood that. And I respect that, because her job is different than mine is. But I think that we all have to take a stand. We all have to plant our flag. And there is power in numbers. And when we hide, when we try not to be seen by those who may target us, then we let them win. And I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can let them win. I don't expect that. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate that. I will give you your $20 when we're done. 50? No, 20. We live in a very precarious time. And look, I came from politics. I spent 20 years as an elected official, and I got to rip people's throats out when they didn't think like I did or their opinions were different. And I have to be more careful now. I can't rip their throats out on Twitter like I would like to. But there are still ways to get the message across that is pointed, that is deliberate, and we needed to do that. And yet, I still get every week 1 or 2, 3 emails from people all over the country who say, nice try, Stace, but we're still never coming to Florida. Not going to happen. So we have to separate ourselves from what's going on in Tallahassee, and this is how we choose to do it. I don't expect everybody to do it. I wish they would, but I come from a different place. My community's different. It embraces these kinds of things. We used to use the word tolerant. Oh, we're tolerant of other lifestyles. We're not. We're welcoming. We're open. We embrace them. They are part of our community. We are part of the community. And we should be saying, and gosh, you see now you wound me up. We should be saying that as tourism professionals because there is a role for us in this conversation. I wish that someone had sat down with a legislator and said, you're going to do what you're going to do. But let me tell you how it might impact my business. We've lost $2 million in group business. We've had 4 conferences cancel on us since these bills were passed by the legislature. And that's also another reason we did this, because it has a business impact. And for those who are concerned about being out there because of the political aspect of it, think of the business aspect. We're losing business. Yeah, lots of people are coming to Florida. There's no question about that. But as everyone opens up and every place opens up and the competition becomes even that much stiffer, we have to show at Visit Lauderdale that we are not what they are hearing out of our state government. We are not that. And this is how we do it, because I can't rip people's throats out on Twitter anymore.
Right. So. No, that's really well said. I mean, you're planting a flag. It's reflective of your community. It's embraced by your community. And the fact you haven't had anybody reach out and say, I don't like it that never happens in tourism marketing.
I'm sure there are people in Tallahassee who don't like it, but
Oh, probably.
They don't sign my paycheck, so.
No, so what's the expectation? Where does this go next for you and the evolution of your brand? I mean, is there a next step to this, or you're already all in and just going to embrace this positioning and start to riff on it and everything else that you do? We
have a new campaign launching in October. We hope it's October. I work for the county, and the paperwork is just choking. So I'm hoping it launches. It was supposed to launch in July, and then the paperwork got held up in purchasing. You don't need to know all this. It's behind-the-scenes stuff. We're hoping to launch. We have a new campaign in the works, which we're launching in October, right after the start of our fiscal year, which will continue to showcase all of the beauty of the people who live in Greater Fort Lauderdale. We believe that the strength of our community is its diversity, and that it weaves this most amazing tapestry with all the different threads and fabrics that come together. And we have woven a beautiful tapestry that tells an incredible story about the place that I've called home since 1974, and we're not going back. I thought that we would be the first. I didn't think that we would be the only here, and I think that's the most disappointing part, is that we are out there on this limb by ourselves. But again, you have to do what you have to do.
Well, there's been so much talk in destination marketing over the course of the last 2 years about the changing role, the evolving role of the destination marketing organization to start focusing on community first, right? And community development, building up those relationships. It seems to me like you just jump-started that whole thing, and you're a couple steps ahead of the curve where, a lot of destinations are coming in to do that. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of days about reaching out and understanding and getting to know the community so that you can better reflect that in your marketing. But in this case, the marketing is about the community, not necessarily about, hey, come check out our beautiful beaches.
Well, we put the beautiful beaches in there too.
They're in there.
They are. We just make sure that because lots of places have beautiful beaches around the world. What makes our beautiful beaches special are the people who live in the community.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again. It's a remarkable campaign. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be here and to sponsoring this event again. I think what you're doing is groundbreaking, and I want to congratulate you for really taking a really bold move on a brand positioning that could be an LGBT campaign, but instead it's reflective of the whole brand. And I think that's probably the penultimate dream for all the people in the room here today. So
thank you. And if you never see me again, I hope that you will remember me fondly when I'm sitting in the concentration camp.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you.